All right, everybody. Welcome back to Wednesday Sip and Learn. Okay, hopefully you guys have something to sip on. You guys have your note pen and notepads because today I actually want to go through something that I actually haven't went through in a while. And it's on opening up your detox pathways. Okay, because I think this is really important, especially now during the holiday season. I'm speaking with you guys individually, and I'm seeing a lot of you guys having trouble with falling off track. Okay, you're either busy, can't do all of the things on the plan, or you're falling off track. Okay, so let's say you overindulge. That overindulge can feel addicting afterwards, right? Because you're eating the foods that you're not supposed to be eating. You're also eating foods that have yeast. A lot of times when people overindulge, they have what do they have? They have pasta, they have the starch, they have the breads, they have things that cause yeast. One thing about yeast, you guys, is that yeast is a very smart bacteria. Okay? Very smart. The more yeast forming foods that you eat, so the more breads, the more cakes, the more processed pastas, the more you eat the wrong grains, because there is the right grains that you can be eating, right? And I go over that on your plan. But for the most part, a lot of us are overindulging with white flour, white breads, all of these yeast forming foods. And yeast is a very smart bacteria because what it does is that when it overgrows, right? When you have an overgrowth of yeast in the body, what happens is that that yeast is like, ooh, we got all this overgrowing. That yeast will start changing your gut microbiome, right? It will start to mold and shift other gut bacteria that were good in your body and start shifting them, making them crave more of the sweets. That's why when you have one cookie, you're like, oh, let me get another cookie, right? It's not that you're just like, I don't have self control. It's the bacteria in your gut. And one of the things that nobody talks about is that your gut has one of the most diverse amount of bacteria in your whole entire body. Most of your bacteria lives in the gut. Okay, and bacteria is a living organism like me and you. It has its own brain, right? Brain. It functions like how we function. It needs food, it needs water, and it needs environment to survive. The environment is the gut, the host is you, the food that it needs is the yeast forming foods, right? So it can produce, it can stay alive. Just like us, we need food so that we can stay alive. And it needs water, right? It needs that water and that hydration from your body. Why am I breaking this down? The reason why I'm breaking it down is so that you are aware. If I just tell you, oh, you can't have sweets, then you won't likely listen because humans, they listen more and they understand more when they know why and they know the science behind why. So it's really important that when you are indulging, you understand this because it saves you so much time for beating yourself up, right? And we're going to go over when you indulge. Now, I'm not encouraging anybody to indulge because when you indulge, it will be a hell of a battle just to get out of it. Drop in the chat. If you ever overindulged, wasn't it a challenge to get yourself out of it? Just drop yes in the chat. And as you're doing that, I'm going to pull up the notes here so I can go over how to really overcome this. This is a big thing that makes or breaks a lot of people. Okay. Okay, one second, guys. Oh, someone said OMG, yes. Yeah, it's literally a drug. It's hard, but it doesn't have to be. It doesn't have to be. Now you know why. Once you know why you're doing something, you can now make an informed decision. Okay? Just like how this is a really off topic comparison, but like, okay, what happens when they say don't drink and drive? Why? Because you can get a DUI, you can get your license suspended, etc. You can go to jail. So you know why. So you know the repercussions. So now you can make an informed decision. Most people, they don't know why they shouldn't be indulging. That's why they don't make informed decisions and they stay exactly where they're at with their health or they spiral. I do not want that for any of you ladies here. Not on my watch, okay? You guys all invested in your time, energy, and money to be here and to really heal your body. I do not want that for you guys. So, let me share with you guys how to overcome this because there's ways on how to overcome this that I haven't mentioned recently that I want to go over this again. So, let me share my screen with you guys. Is that okay if I share my screen? Let me share it. Okay, let me share my screen with you guys. Now, I want to go over how to open up detox pathways. Opening up detox pathways is very powerful. Okay, and I haven't went over this. We have about there's hair on me. We have about 8 detox pathways. And as a woman, you have 9. Okay, we're all women here. We have 9 detox pathways. And I'm going to explain this to you, and this is going to be very important. Okay. This is something that no doctors usually go over. No health professionals talk about this. And I'm going to break it down for you guys. There's 9 detox pathways. There's the brain. So yes, the brain, this is called the glymphatic system. So your brain is one of the ways you detox. How do you detox to the brain? Through sleeping. Okay. You detox to the brain through sleep and through rest. If you are not sleeping, I'm pretty sure we already know. If you're not sleeping, are you going to perform properly when it comes to concentration? Probably not. Is your memory going to be good? Probably not. Is your brain going to make the right commands throughout your body? Probably not. The brain is really important. That's why sleep is important. And not a lot of people are getting enough sleep, right? Sleep is going to look different for different people. Some people need 8 hours of sleep. Some people need 4 hours of sleep. Some people need 5 hours of sleep. I can't tell you how much sleep that you need, but here's how you know if you're well rested. If you wake up in the morning and you have energy. A lot of people are waking up in the morning and they're just getting by. They can barely get out of bed, and it happens. And nine times out of 10, it's happening because you're eating too late at night. You're draining your energy so you can't even rebuild your energy for the next day. So start off by aiming to get at least 8 hours of sleep. Now, during this detox, because you're eating more fruits, you're eating more foods that give you energy, you might not need a whole lot of sleep. Here's the secret. The only time where you need to be sleeping 10 hours plus a day is when you're eating and stuffing your face. Because remember, guys, the more you eat, the more energy that it takes from your body. And remember, sleep is how you gain energy. So if you need a lot of sleep, dun da da, it's either you're overeating or you're eating foods that don't give you energy. Hence, processed food. So just try to remember not back in the day, but before starting this detox, how was your sleep? Because 9 times out of 10, a lot of my ladies say like, I was sleeping so much or I was sleeping so little, never feeling rested. Now I have more energy. I barely need to sleep. So these are the things that you want to look at. You want to look at how your sleep is. So start thinking, how is your sleep? So this is really clumpy. Okay. Hmm. Start thinking about how your sleep was because the first detox pathway is the brain. It gets detoxed by sleep, even meditation, and frequency music. Okay, I want to talk about this. I have a lot to talk about, guys. Make sure you guys are taking notes, okay? I have a lot of gems for you guys. These are things that you have never heard of before, and it's going to blow your mind. Let's talk about meditation. How many of you guys here meditate? Just put yes or no in the chat if you meditate. Who are my meditators? Okay, Miss she does. Yes. All right. My meditators. Okay. Now, here's the thing about meditation. Meditation is beautiful for actually detoxing the lymphatic system. So it's not just about like spiritual aspects, right? Those go really deep. But meditation is really powerful to help with detoxing the brain. What meditation does is that, first of all, if you're someone that is not getting enough sleep, let's say you're a working woman, right? You're not getting enough sleep because your hours, maybe you work an overnight shift, or maybe there's just, you have a lot going on. One thing that will mimic sleep is meditation. If you meditate in a dark room, okay, and you focus on your breath work, okay, and you meditate, silence the mind in a dark room for 30 minutes every single day, that actually mimics getting 5+ hours of sleep. Whoa. Meditating in a dark room for 30 minutes mimics getting 5+ hours of sleep. That's insane, but it's so powerful. So, one thing I'm going to tell you right now is if you do not have time to sleep, which sounds crazy, but if you're busy and you just haven't been sleeping, or maybe you can't sleep, meditation. I'm going to challenge you to do this. Okay. Make sure if you're not able to sleep, if you're in and out of sleep, you're meditating. Meditation could be dark room. You don't have to even add music. You can just be in a dark room, close your eyes, and silence the mind. Okay. Now, when you first start meditating, you don't have to focus on like silencing the mind because it can feel like you're kind of working against it. But the more you meditate, the more you do this work, you will notice that your mind just goes naturally silent. But start there. Try to at least be with yourself, no distractions. If thoughts come in, let them come in because these are thoughts that have been neglected. Okay, I'm giving you guys like a one-on-one meditation class because it's a part of detoxing. And to go back, why are we talking about detox pathways? We're talking about this because we need to make sure that these are open. If detox pathways are not open, trapped toxins from your body will stay stagnant in your body. This is where we get cysts. This is where we get fibroids as women. This is where we get the lumps. This is where we get a backed up lymphatic system. And this is where disease starts. So if you are not opening this up, right, but the detox plan that I gave you helps open this up. But let's say, for example, you fell back, or let's say, for example, you want to amplify this. This is where you do it. Meditation. Now, frequency music, the best frequency music for the brain. Um, Let me actually see, because usually I would like to say you want theta waves, like that state before you go into deep sleep. So you want theta waves. Okay, my favorite frequency. I like to do below 4, so like 200 hertz to about 300 hertz is what I would do for the brain. And just listen to that music and try to calm yourself down. If you can allocate 20 minutes to this, this is going to take you far. Okay, who's committed to doing this? Let's see. There's more that we have to add. Okay. Now, the second detox pathway is the one that I talk about all the time. Lungs. We're going to put lungs in all caps. The lungs. This is simply by breathing. Who here does their breath work? Who here loves doing their breath work? Okay. Yes, thank you. Yes. Okay. Let's talk about the lungs. This is actually one of the most important ones. Okay, lungs is very important. Why? Okay, let's talk about why. So I kind of wrote it down. Breathing is the key to sustain life. Now, it may not seem as big to some because we're always breathing on autopilot, right? It's something that we don't have to think about. It's subconscious. However, because we don't have to think about it and it's subconscious, a lot of us are actually not breathing enough. When we're not breathing enough, oxygen cannot flow throughout our body. So we're lacking oxygen. The lack of oxygen is the lack of life, right? A lot of times when people have cancer, it's most times it's because they're lacking oxygen. That's why they have to go through the oxygen tanks and do like those oxygen pumps and stuff and manually give their body oxygen because their body is so constricted, right? Their oxygen cannot flow, life force cannot flow. That is why it's so important to do your breath work. Breath work is one of the ways you eliminate waste. Okay. I always give this example. Okay. When you are detoxing, all of the waste in your body breaks down into metabolic waste. Okay. Metabolic waste is where that waste is coming from. So there's no other place that waste comes in the body. It comes in through the mouth, through what you eat. Okay. You cannot go outside and sit down or touch grass and then all of a sudden you have metabolic waste and you have cancer or you have disease. That doesn't work like that. It all comes through the mouth. Now, if your body cannot break down or get rid of metabolic waste, it turns into CO2. CO2 is metabolic waste. CO2 is toxic. CO2 is toxins. CO2 is acid in the body. Woo, write that down, guys. I just broke down disease here. Okay, I hope we're on the same path. I just broke down what most of your diseases come from. Metabolic waste. Now, we all know when we breathe, we are breathing in oxygen and we're releasing CO2, the metabolic waste. That is why when you breathe and you smell someone's breath, you're like, oh, your breath kind of smells. That's toxins in the body. It's not just like, oh, I don't have good hygiene or I'm not brushing my teeth. It's overaccumulation of metabolic waste. Do you guys see what I'm saying? Is this making sense? I want to make sure I'm making sense. Just give me a thumbs up. Does this make sense? Mm-hmm. Are we making sense here? Okay. Hopefully you guys are on the same page with me. That is why breath work is key. It is not a, oh, I'm going to do it here and there. It's key. This is how you get your body moving and release toxins. So if you overindulge, I would start breathing right away. I would start doing my breath work right away. That is key. You cannot stop doing the breath work. The moment you stop doing your breath work, the moment you stop healing, because there's no oxygen, there's no life force in your body. And that's when your body starts to decay. When your body starts to decay, that is aging. Ooh, okay. I put lion's mane in here. I think I'm really getting in deep. Breathing is so important to open up those pathways, the lungs. Breathing helps with heart. It helps with cardiovascular health. It helps with arteries. It helps with cholesterol. Helps with hormones. It helps reduce cortisol levels. Also helps you think clearly because oxygen can flow. So thoughts, things can flow through the body as well. Now, the third detox pathway is your digestion. So your gut. Okay, I can talk about gut health for years, and I'm still not done talking about it, okay? But your digestion is a detox pathway. Why? Let me show you. This is my handy dandy anatomy thing. This is what I used to study. Okay, where's your digestion, your digestive system? It is, okay, right here. You might not be able to see it, but here's your digestion, okay? What is this? This is your anus. All right, that means digestion starts in the mouth and it ends in your anus. So if you're not pooping after every meal, you have a digestion issue. Okay. If you are not pooping after your meals, okay. So let's say you have 3 meals a day, you're following the plan, you have your fruits, your salad, and then you have your dinner. If you're not pooping between those periods, those 2 hour periods in between, that is a gut health issue because toxins cannot leave the body. Have you ever heard the saying, um, whatever you consume must defecate? Right? Take what you need, take what resonates and leave what doesn't. That's the foundation of your digestion system. You take what you need and you get rid of what you don't need. That is your digestion, which means starts in the mouth. You absorb what you need to absorb. I always talk about this: absorption, utilization, elimination. You absorb what you need to absorb, you release, so you utilize what you need and you release the waste. That's how you truly get rid of metabolic waste. If your gut is up to par, you wouldn't need to detox, right? And unfortunately, based on our environment, the clothes we're wearing, the perfumes in the air, we're not in nature as we should, we're not in the sun as we should. We all have to detox. Even me, I'm still detoxing. There's not like I'm detoxing, I stop and then I do it. No, like we have to because of where we're at now as a society and in our environment. This is a lifestyle. So, and I'm looking down because I'm looking at my diagram for you. How do you open up your gut health? First of all, one of the ways to reset this. Now, this is not all the time, but this is when you are not seeing results and you're overindulging, which you should not be doing, but we get it, right? What you want to do is actually restrain from eating for minimum 42 hours. Now, you don't want to just starve your body, but what you want to do is you want to have fruit juices or you want to have your liquids, right? Fruit juices would be more ideal. Water pushes things through the body way too fast, and you could have some side effects, and I don't want that for you. So you can do fruit juices, okay, and have that for breakfast, lunch, and dinner to help reset your gut. You can do juices like apple juice. Apple juice is really good because it breaks up gallbladder stones. It breaks up calcification. It breaks up kidney stones. Apple juice, really powerful. You can do celery juice. You can do a green juice. Celery juice is really good for heavy metals. You can do orange juice if you want that vitamin C, glowy skin. So you can play around with this. I love to do like a 3-day fast of orange juice when I feel like I need like a beauty glow, like a glow up. I do apple juice, a heavy metal juice like apple, ginger, celery. I do that when I need to flush out my gut, like something's backed up in there, right? You need to do something like that, really powerful. Okay. You want to do that for minimum 42 hours. So 42 hours, breakfast, lunch, and dinner, you're just doing the juice, 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 juice. Okay. And this is where you can get more kind of lenient because you don't necessarily have to eat every two or drink your juice every 2 hours. You just drink the juice when you need a little pick me up. Okay. That's how you reset the gut. Because once you stop feeding the gut food, your gut now has energy. Remember, food is energy. Your gut now has energy to break down the food that's left over. It also has energy and it regulates your liver. So your liver is not overworking and also helps your pancreas. So if you have diabetes, you're pre-diabetic, if you're in that family, this is actually really important. You can perform this twice in the month. I would do that to reset your gut. The more you fast and reset your gut, right? It's really going to be powerful. Because you're giving your body a reset. Like, when you're playing a game and then, you fail the level and then you restart. Fresh start. You're back to square one, fresh start. You can do it again. That's kind of the intention here. Okay. Okay. Hope that makes sense for you guys. One second, guys. Okay. Okay. The next detox pathway, we did the gut. The next detox pathway is the liver. The liver is one of my favorites because it's super easy. A lot of people, when they hear, oh, I have fatty liver, they get very, very discouraged. Sorry, guys. You don't want to get, you don't want to, this is not a good example. You don't want to be drinking and talking. However, you don't want to get discouraged when it comes to the liver at all. The liver is actually one of the most recoverable organs. And one of the ways to kickstart the liver is my favorite, olive oil. Olive oil kickstarts the liver. One mixture that you can do, if you notice that you're not pooping after your meals, like let's say you poop once a day and you have 3 meals. No. Let's say you go every other day without having a bowel movement. No. One thing that you can do when you feel when you're not having a bowel movement, what you want to take is you want to take olive oil shots. So get a shot glass, right? A glass like something like this big. Olive oil shots, and you can throw in there some grapefruit. Like squeeze a grapefruit. That is so powerful. And we'll throw in some lemon juice too to make it extra powerful. Okay. This is things that you can do right now without having to do any strong herbs because you're just starting out. These are things that you can do right now. So you take your olive oil, fill it up. You do a little squeeze of grapefruit juice, sorry. Then you do lemon juice, and then you just take a shot whenever you feel like you're not having consistent bowel movements. That's how you open this up. Now, this would be really good to do, right? Maybe in the holiday season when fall off, whatever, take this shot. Super powerful. Okay. It will reset the liver. So you're having consistent bowels because sometimes what happens is that if you're eating food, let me go down. If you're eating food that doesn't have hydration, that's where you get constipation. Remember, guys, hydration breaks up stagnation. Hydration breaks up stagnation. Okay. This is a really juicy live, guys. I love this live. Very juicy. Okay. Now the kidneys. The kidneys. One of the ways to open up the kidneys, because the kidneys are really important because the kidney pathways, we all know that this comes through urine. So the liver is bowel movements mainly, kidney is urine and water retention. So if you're holding on to water retention, kidneys. Swollen wrists, swollen ankles, kidneys. You ever get like that flabby skin or loose skin, right? So most times it's the kidneys. So what can we do? Well, I'll show you what you can do. Kidneys really love parsley. So you can do parsley water. Add parsley to salad. Okay, also apples. Apples are amazing for the kidneys. Apple a day keeps the doctor away. So having apples for breakfast, really powerful. Apple juice, juicing apples, juicing apples, super powerful. These are things that you can do, guys. Really not too much. It's easy. It's effective. I think sometimes we overcomplicate the healing process, and it doesn't have to be overcomplicated. This could be things that you could do right now. It's just consistency. Okay. The sixth pathway is your skin. Your skin is actually considered your second kidney. So if the kidneys are backed up, ooh, the skin. So one way to really open up the skin pathway, okay, is steaming. What I would do if you don't have a face steamer, okay, I would do face steaming or full body steaming. If you don't have a face steamer, what you can do is boil some water. Okay, put that boiled water in a pot. Get a cloth, put that cloth over your head and over the pot, and put your face down in the pot and let that steam open up the skin pathways. You want to do this as a part of your skincare, actually. So doing this as you're washing your face. So I like to do this. I don't do this every single day. I do this twice a week. I just simply sometimes I forget. But if you are, overindulging, I would actually get on this, because the one thing that will happen when you overeat or you eat foods that you're not supposed to is acne will appear. You'll get acne, you'll get redness, you'll get dry skin. I don't know about you guys, but anytime acne comes up on my face, I say, oh no, no. Oh no, no. And one of the places that my skin loves to break out is like the chin. The chin acne is usually a sign of hormones. Because I had PCOS, my hormones are always something that I need to focus on all the time. So my chin loves to break out, and every time my chin breaks out, I'm like, oh, I know I ate something that triggered my PCOS or triggered my hormones. So face steaming really helps open up the pores. So add that into your routine. Okay, but understand the skin is a pathway. So if your liver and kidneys, your gut, your lungs, you're not breathing, you're not sleeping, yeah, your skin is gonna be that. Your skin's gonna take a dump. Everything's gonna take a dump on the skin. If all of these pathways, one thing about the skin is like it's the last resort. So if all of these pathways are closed, your skin is like not gonna have the best time. Okay, we only have 5 minutes left. Okay, maybe I should continue this tonight. I want to leave the 5 minutes for questions. So, you know what, guys? Let me continue this tonight because I do have another meeting. We have 5 minutes. Does anybody have any questions? Any question? Unmute or drop in the chat. Let me stop sharing this. Okay, you prepare your body for a juice cleanse by opening up those pathways, like I mentioned. So, the first thing is you prioritize your breathing. So, you start, of course, eliminating the foods that you're not supposed to be eating. You start by, and if you're following the plan, then your body can easily adjust to the 48 to 72-hour juice. So, how you prepare is you start with opening up the brain. So, you do your sleep, Make sure that you're doing your breath work, you're meditating. Then you start off with, here, let me go back. Okay. This is how you prepare and open up. So you start off with the lungs. Okay, the brain waves, the lungs. Then you want to do the gut health, making sure you're adding in your olive, your liver. So for the liver, you do your olives, your kidneys. So this is how you prep. Now, the plan itself that we have, that you have, it should be an easy transition to do this. But the first thing you want to prioritize is from step one, brain waves, opening up the lymphatic system, and then two, breath work, and then you go straight into the gut. So the preparation is now we need to start sleeping so your body can sustain that. Then you start doing your breath work more often, and then you go straight in to this cleanse. So you go straight into the 48, 72 hours. Okay, so there's no like, you don't have to do anything crazy, you just follow this. Because with your plan right now, you should be already opening up pathways, so you don't need to start off with like doing something like extreme because you already have the plan, you're already following the plan, and that plan already is opening up pathways, but this is going to help open it up on a whole nother level, especially after indulging if that happens. Oh, wait, someone asked me another question. Let me see. I'm going to answer it quickly. Because go. How long should parsley soak in the water before drinking? If you want to speed up this process, you can boil it in the water and then you should be able to let it cool and drink it. So that's what I would suggest you do. Okay. And then something else. So for the liver, now it's different for everyone. If you're not so if you're following the plan right now and you're not pooping, then you want to make sure that you're increasing that shot. So just start off with one shot a day. If you're not pooping, let's say you haven't pooped today, take that shot one time, see if you poop. And if you didn't poop that day, okay, now you want it the next day you want to increase that shot to 2. So 2 shots a day. If you took the shot and you didn't poop that day, then you want to increase it to 2 shots a day. Okay. Sorry guys, we have 1 minute left. Let me see if I can answer this. Can I do the juicing on my period? Well, if you're gonna do the juicing on your period, you want to make sure that you're still adding in your berries and you have your hibiscus, your ginger to help soothe any cramps that you may have. So yes, you can do the juicing, but you want to make sure that you're also adding in berries because berries are really powerful too to add in. So never forget the berries on your period. Okay. That was like rapid fire. All right, guys, I have another meeting to go to. I love you guys so much. Make sure to join in tonight because I'm going to continue on for where we left off. All right. Bye, guys.